presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and powered by Moose Bridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Welcome to the podcast, where former San Antonio police officer, author, and pastor Tim Rupp walks you through real-life scenarios involving our police officers and digs into the depths of facts and opinions on each case. This is Cop Talk, and it starts now.
Hello and welcome to the Strong Blue Line's Cop Talk. I'm Tim Rupp in the Rev.FM studio in beautiful Idaho Falls. Here with me, as always, is station manager Gary Austin. Hello, Gary.
Here we are, Tim Rupp. How's it going?
It's going well. You know, here we are halfway through June. Can't believe halfway through June.
I know.
You know what? I'm going to start
crazy.
preparing for Christmas pretty soon.
Are you really? You're that guy, huh?
Yeah, I am that guy. You know how I prepare? I just remind Sherry that Christmas is coming up and she gets stuff.
Well, that's a big responsibility, Tim.
She
so
is that.
good.
You know, because you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of Carrie's Christmas candy.
Ooh.
Again. His
Yeah,
wife.
it's coming. I can't wait either.
And we have a special guest here.
We do.
Jeremy Ward. And Jeremy, I'm gonna interject you right now. Have you ever had any of Carrie's Christmas candy?
You know, Tim, I haven't.
You don't know what you're missing. You've gone through life without Carrie's Christmas candy. That's why he married her.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know,
for her Christmas candy.
That's it.
The only reason, yeah.
Excellent Christmas
I'm going to
candy.
have to find a way to get some of this Christmas candy, clearly.
You got it, Jeremy.
Come around Christmas time. Contact me because I'll have it in my office and I don't need to eat all that, man. I need to start dieting now. Oh man, it's excellent stuff.
Does your wife bake, Jeremy? Does she make goodies?
On occasion, but she's never got into the baking. But she is getting into the sourdough thing now.
Ooh.
So
cool.
I think that's
awesome.
I think that will change.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
excellent.
we'll have to exchange.
Hey, yeah, we can. Yeah, that's a good idea, Gary.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have you on here more often.
I know. Thanks.
I don't think I can. Hey, so here we are, June the 12th, and we're going to honor the officers that were slain in the line of duty this day. And so from our Officer Down Memorial page, Gary, I have Sheriff Thomas Griffin Thornton, Caroline County Sheriff's Office, Virginia. End of watch, June 12th, 1830.
Wow.
That's almost 200 years ago.
Yeah, that might be the earliest.
June 12th,
Pretty close that we've had.
1830, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sheriff Thomas Thornton was shot and killed while attempting to serve a writ on a man. Very, very sketchy information. I mean, very, very little information. The man was apprehended, convicted of Sheriff Thornton's murder, and subsequently hanged on November 26, 1830. That's all we have on it. So, but June 12th, he was killed, and on November 26th, that's like 4 or 5 months, he was hanged for the crime.
Wow.
But here's what I also found posted. This was posted in 2021. It says this, quote, "I'm proud of my 5th great-grandfather's service. May he rest forever. Corporal J.T. Thornton, Mobile County Sheriff's Office."
Huh.
So his 5th great-grandson is in law enforcement in Mobile County, Alabama.
That is really awesome.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Huh.
What do you have, Gary?
This is Deputy First Class Glenn R. Hilliard from the Wacomico County Sheriff's Office out of Maryland, 2022. End of watch on June 12th.
2 years ago.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, the deputy saw a man leaving his apartment and attempted to arrest him. Doesn't say what it was for, but the man fled on foot, and then he opened fire on the deputy as he pursued him. Consequently, he was fatally wounded during the shooting. The man continued to flee after shooting Deputy Hilliard, but was arrested later that night. And so he was charged. Now, this is quite extensive, Tim. You might have to just kind of briefly explain this, but
okay,
he was charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, first-degree assault, second-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and the use of a firearm in the commission of a violent crime. So he was convicted and sentenced to life without parole, plus 66 years.
Okay.
There's a lot there.
So what they did is they, assuming that all of these charges stem from just the assault on the officer himself, Now, it could have been that they charged him with the murder and then other assaults on the other officers.
Oh.
And also during the commission of a felony, he used a firearm. And that in Texas, when I worked in Texas, that will enhance the sentencing.
I'll be darned.
Punishment, rather. And so you have all them things, but then it says that he got what, life plus 66?
Yeah, life without parole plus 66.
Okay, so you would think that a guy gets life without parole, or he gets life and he's gone forever. No, that's not the case. And what they do is let's say they say, for example, the average life expectancy is 70 years, let's say. And so the guy gets life. Well, if he gets in there at 20 years old, that's really a 50-year sentence. It's not a life sentence because they expect life at 70 if that was the case. Oh. And then they can do good behavior after that and all that stuff. So you think, the guy's gone for life. No, not necessarily. But when they say life without parole, that's more. Then it says after he completes that, he's got to do 66 more years. So this guy he's gonna die in prison. He's not getting out.
Yeah.
So that's why they do that.
That makes sense. So life in Idaho is like 25 years.
It depends on what it is. It depends on who you are, how old, and all that kind of stuff. So
I'll be darned. Well, thanks for explaining that. There was a lot there.
There is a lot, and that was a couple years ago. And when it's 200 years ago, there's not a whole lot of information.
Exactly. Well, he was 41, but his tour was 16 years. So he served for quite some time.
Yeah, he did.
So,
and we don't have any information on this sheriff. Other than we know that he did have kids because his great-great-great-great-great-grandson. So we know he had kids. Yeah, so
genealogy there.
We know he had children.
That's cool.
Anyways, before we get Jeremy on, Friday, just 3 days from today, is Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and this is in Blackfoot, and this is specifically for Blackfoot PD, Shelby PD, Bingham County, Idaho State Police, and Fort Hall. So it's for those officers and their families.
That's great.
So, but
that'll be really good.
Yeah, that's cool. The mayor of Blackfoot's going to be speaking. Then Sherry and I is going to speak, and they're going to have drawing it's going to be a family time and everything. It's going to be really good. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to contact me. coptalk@therev.fm. coptalk@therev.fm. Now, our special guest today is Jeremy Ward. And I'm going to tell you the reason why we have Jeremy Ward on is, Gary, you probably heard that the Boy Scouts of America have announced that they're changing their name effective next February.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did hear that.
It's changing from Boy Scouts of America to Scouting America. And this name change, I read an article on it, it's actually in response to a $2.4 billion bankruptcy reorganization.
Man.
After paying out to more than 80,000 men who claimed that they were sexually abused while children in the Boy Scouts of America. I mean, you guys probably remember that over the last few years. This has really come to light.
Yeah, it really has.
And let me tell you a couple things that the Boy Scouts of America have done, and now Scouting America. They began allowing gay youth in 2013 and ended the ban on gay adult leaders in 2015. In 2018, they had 2 million members. In 2024, they have around 1 million.
Oh, my goodness.
During their highest time was in 1972. And I remember I was in Weeblo Scouts, I think it's called, for a short time. And that was probably in the late 60s, early 70s. But in 1972, they had 5 million members. So they've gone from 5 million down to 1 million. And they're doing away with the Girl Scouts. They're going to absorb that anyways. We got a lot of stuff here. And I was talking to Jeremy, and I didn't realize that this organization he's part of, called Trail Life, has been around, Jeremy, for now, almost 20 years? Is that right?
So American Heritage Girls, which is the girls version, that's been around for nearly 20 years. They'll celebrate their 20-year anniversary next year. Now, Trail Life USA, we've been around since about 2013. And
okay, so 10 years. So it's been around 10 years.
That's right. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary, and Trail Life USA was born out of some of the controversy that happened with Scouting America. And now, before we get too far, I want to say I'm an Eagle Scout.
Oh, really? Okay.
I received my Eagle Scout, back when the Boy Scouts were the Boy Scouts, in 1997, and I had a phenomenal experience going through Scouts. I went through my first backpacking experience was in New Mexico. I was at the Philmont Scout Ranch when I was 13. And that got me kind of hooked on the scouting experience ever since. And so in 2013. There were some Scoutmasters. There was a lot of things going on with the Boy Scouts back then. People can go and look that up. But in Nashville, Tennessee, we had an inaugural convention with 1,100 men from 44 different states.
So did you actually go to that?
I was not there. No,
you were not there. Okay.
So in fact, I only learned about Trail Life just about 3 years ago, and my son was starting to get interested in, and we were looking for a scouting program, and a Trail Life troop was chartered here in Southeast Idaho about 3 years ago, and we started going to that.
And that was over at Christ Community.
That was over
Church,
at Christ
right?
Community.
Okay.
Yep. So that's troop ID 2717, and so we started going over there, and that's where I started learning more about Trail Life, and
okay, so
started to get really involved.
So tell me about Trail Life. Now, what I'm going to assume, I'm making assumptions here. Trail Life is for the boys.
Correct.
And the Heritage, what is it?
American Heritage Girls is for the girls.
American Heritage Girls. And so Trail Life is kind of like the Boy Scouts were at one time, and American Heritage Girls is like the Girl Scouts were at one time.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, so let's set that. We're not going to sit here. We're not here to bash Scouting America or anything else, but I want you to tell the audience about Trail Life. What is it?
Yeah, so Trail Life USA is a Christ-centered, boy-focused, church-based, church-owned adventure program that emphasizes and teaches a biblical worldview in all areas, including morality, and really especially morality. And so I go back to with Trail Life, it's boy-focused, which means that we're focusing on the boys, that it's a program built for and designed for biological boys. Right. American Heritage Girls is the same thing, except it's a program designed for biological girls.
Okay, so that one of the controversies, so girls cannot go into Trail Life.
That's correct.
And boys cannot go into American Heritage Girls.
Yep, that's correct.
Now, what if you had somebody that says, well, I identify as this? What is the policy?
So it's our policy that we cater to biological boys.
Okay.
And so and that's part of our biblical worldview. We were all made in the image of God, and as you were born is as you were meant to be.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, and you said you have a biblical worldview. So, is this like a Sunday school class? You just go there and you teach them Bible stuff, or what do you do?
Well, it's the program is designed to be outdoors, especially for boys. So, you have boys.
So you have the camping and stuff like that?
We have camping, we have hiking, fishing, shooting. It's an adventure program. And so with everything that we do, we're going to build in some of that biblical worldview teaching, but it's going to be done in an adventure setting. It's not going to be churchy or religious. It's going to be done in the outdoors. As boys like to get dirty. They like to get muddy.
Oh yeah.
They like to have fun, and it's really difficult. You take little boys. Now our program goes 5 to 18. And so, but you try to get a 6-year-old to sit down and listen to talks about Jesus or really talks about anything. 6-year-olds don't want to do that.
You're going to have their attention for about 30 seconds.
That's right. So we want to get them out. We want to get let them move. Let them be boys.
Okay. So do they go through like different badges and different things or patches or whatever?
So we have our program is split into different areas of focus. So for the little ones, so we're talking 5 to 11-year-olds. it's called our Woodlands Trail. And so for Woodlands Trail, that program is split into different branches. You think of it maybe the tree of life. And so you'll have a branch for values and for hobbies and for sports and fitness, and so on and so forth. So we'll have 7 different areas of focus, and so we'll go outside, and maybe for hobbies we're going to go outside and play flag football, or maybe we're going to go outside and go rock hounding. We're going to go on a hike and crack open some geodes. So and then we're going to talk about how does that relate back to something in the Bible. There's going to be scripture passages in these different lessons, these different adventures that we're going to go.
What I like about that is some boys are better at sports than others.
Yeah.
But then other ones are better at different things, and so but they all get to experience that, and they'll be able to discover what they like.
That's right.
They like things they don't even know they like yet.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Oh, that's interesting. Rocks are cool, or whatever it is. And so you go there, and so are there the ranks and the patches, like you mentioned, shooting, that got my attention there. So what do you guys do with the shooting? Is there like a patch for like safety or what?
So for the shooting sports, that's going to be more for some of the older boys. Now the younger boys can do shooting. They just wouldn't get they might earn a branch for it. So they'll get like branch pins as they do different lessons and whatnot. But now the older boys in what's called the Navigator program and the Adventurer program, it's going to be your 12 to 18-year-olds. Those boys will start to earn badges and patches. Very similar to the old Boy Scouts. Instead of putting them on a sash or something, they get to put them on a standard. How Moses and Aaron carried a staff. Well, the boys can earn a staff. So, and then all of their medallions, they'll be put on that standard. And so you can have different things like first aid and camping and shooting.
And that saves a lot of sewing.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
That makes sense, man.
And so as boys, you like to have those manly things, and there's
that's cool.
It's hard to have something more manly than a nice sturdy walking stick.
Yeah.
And so that's what that standard is. And so when you're talking about shooting, well, we're going to have a range officer. We might have you come out and help volunteer for that, and then you would walk us through, how to shoot safely. It might be handguns or shotguns or rifles. Okay. Yeah. But we would set that up on a shooting range, and we just have fun with it. We'd learn about that. We'd learn about the safety about that, and and then we would apply that to. Well, how does this apply to a biblical worldview? How does this? How can shooting increase your faith?
Excellent. That's excellent. That's really cool. And so, and then the Heritage Girls, that's basically the same thing, just for girls?
It's very similar, except for girls. Now I think that the big thing to realize here is, and it's a shame to say, but I think that it's worth saying in this day and age, there's a difference between boys and girls.
Yes, please. I have to tell that to my grandchildren.
So, and because of that, the programs are inherently different, right? Girls are going to respond to different things. They're not going to be outside as much. It's not to say that they're not.
But they're going to be doing different things.
They're going to do different things.
They're going to be doing girly stuff, and boys are going to be doing boy stuff.
That's exactly right.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Isn't that a breath of fresh air?
It really is.
You've got boys and girls, and they're different. No matter what you do, they do different things.
Yeah. So you can't have a one size fits all program and expect it to work well. It's just not going to happen that way.
Right. So do you guys I know Scouts they have a motto and do you have that kind of stuff?
We do. So there's a trailman oath, and there's a trailman motto. So our trailman motto, you might understand it, or you might remember it. Our trailman motto is "Walk worthy," and it comes from Colossians 1:10, which says that you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing Him, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. Well, that's the motto of Trail Life USA.
Excellent. Okay, very good. Now I want to one of the big things with that really ruined Boy Scouts America is the sexual predators.
Sure. That's right.
They got in somehow. So what do you do to somebody who wants to be a leader. Let's say, Jeremy, I want to be a leader. I'm interested in this. I like doing this. What do I have to? What are the qualifications to be a leader?
Sure. So for Trail Life USA, and this is going to be regardless of what troop you go to, it is a multi-tiered process. So the very first thing, you're not just going to start up and, say you brought your grandson there and then you wanted to be a leader. Well, you're not going to walk in the door and the next week you're going to be teaching a class or leading anything.
And I shouldn't be. That's good.
That's exactly right. So it's going to take time. So the first step is you're going to, express your interest to the TML. So that's the Troop Ministry Liaison, or you'll express your interest to somebody. Maybe it's the Troop Master. Well, he's going to then refer you over to the Troop Ministry Liaison. And so that position, that's the position that I hold here at our troop at ID 1314. And that Troop Ministry Liaison is responsible for kind of interacting between the church, so that's the charter body, and then the troop itself. This person is also responsible for vetting anyone that wants to be what's called a registered adult. And so to be a registered adult, the TML is going to start talking to the person. I mean, so if you're asking how you could be a registered adult in our troop, well, I'm going to start asking you, well, how's your faith? Tell me about your salvation. Tell me a little bit about your walk with the Lord.
So they're going to do an interview with you. That's right. The first thing.
So that's the first.
And once they get past, let's say they get past that interview, you feel comfortable with their faith, where they're at.
Yep.
And then what?
So the next step is I'm going to send them a link. So we'll go through Trail Life Connect. That's a computer system or a website that we have set up to help manage things. So the next step is that they'll go through, they'll have to fill out a background form, and on that background form they answer several different questions, and then they have got to provide three references. So as my position as TML, I'm responsible for calling those references and asking the same types of questions, right? I want to know, well, what do your references think about your faith? What do your references think about your character and your leadership? And then, most references are going to be good and it's going to be all favorable. And so because they're going to be leading the boys, I also want to know, do they have any hidden talents that they might not share with people? You're a fantastic shooter. I'd want to know that, right? Because that now I can know where we can start plugging you in and where you're going to make the best impact. In addition to that, so now I'll approve. So after talking with the references, we approve the background check to actually be sent out. So all this happens before the background check is even sent out. So the Trail Life USA will do the background check, and it's an FBI background check. And then here at Water Springs, we require you to do a background check through the church as well. Right. So it's a double process. And after the background check comes back free and clear, the next step is the person and if it's you, your next step would be to complete an online child safety and youth protection training. And so that's going to be a 2 to 4 hour online video series on how to identify sexual predators and grooming behavior. So at Trail Life USA, we go to great lengths to make sure that all of our adult leadership knows how to identify a predator and those types of grooming behavior.
They're properly vetted, and they know how to themselves. They know how to do that.
That's exactly
good.
right.
That's a step beyond.
And so as soon as they're vetted, they get a red lanyard and a card so that everybody can now know that they're a registered adult. They've gone through this training, and on that card, it tells when that training expires. So we require you to re-up your child safety and youth protection training every 2 years. It's kind of just like your CPR. We want to make sure that you're up to date on whatever's going on. And now, as part of that training, as you're going through that, what you'll learn is that you're never to be alone with any of the boys.
Right.
So that's
always two adults.
There's always at least two adults, and we don't, and then go on beyond that, because now remember, it's not just adults that are predators. Boys can be predators as well, right? So so we make sure that the boys know that the boys are never to be in groups of 2. We want them to be in groups of 3 at least. And so making sure
That's
that
good for safety in numbers and that. Yeah,
so
basic.
that we're
stuff, yeah.
making sure that the boys also kind of recognize that and are staying safe.
That's great, and not only this is great for boys. Obviously, I'd be excited if I was a young boy. I'd want to be doing something like this, but it's an opportunity, Gary, for men to get in and to use their skills and their talents or their hobbies.
Oh, 100%.
Get to do. I know you're big into skiing and bicycling and all that kind of stuff. That's something that So there's so many things to do. Hey, Jeremy, thanks for being here today and sharing this ministry with us.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate you having me on. This has been fantastic.
You're welcome. Hey, and if you miss this on the radio, you can always catch Cop Talk on Amazon, YouTube, Apple, and Spotify platforms. Thanks for listening in. If you have a topic or question you want to address on Cop Talk, send me an email. You can email suggestions, questions, comments, or complaints to coptalk@therev.fm. That's coptalk@therev.fm. A thought from the good book today? That you may walk worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing Him, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of God. Thank you for joining us, and help us make the thin blue line a strong blue line.
Cop Talk is presented by the Strong Blue Line Foundation and sponsored by Moose Ridge Coffee in Snake River Landing, Idaho Falls. Questions and comments are always welcome by email to coptalk@therev.fm. Listen, follow, leave a review, and share this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or YouTube. And visit thestrongblueline.org to learn how you can be a supporter. Cop Talk is a Rev FM production, produced and edited by Gary Austin. Thank you for joining us on Cop Talk.